In the Department of Geography, we offer an MA and an MSc in Environmental Hazards and Risk. This is a strength that we've had through our cooperation with the Institute for Hazards, Risk, and Resilience for a long time. We've offered training and taught masters in these fields since 2011. So it's a field we know quite well, and we've crafted and honed our taught masters programs in these areas. Our MA in Environmental Hazards and Risk is really unique because it offers you a grounding in the physical processes of environmental hazards and introduction to social science methods and critical social science approaches to environmental problems. So this means if you are someone interested in having a skill set in both physical and social sciences, this is a fantastic program for you, and it's really unmatched anywhere else. On the MA in Environmental Hazards and Risk, you will take modules with the other MA students, such as Social Dimensions of Risk and Resilience, and this will introduce you to social science approaches to both risk and resilience, and especially the question of how we govern with and through those two concepts. So we'll look at things like in refugee humanitarianism, urban climate policy, health risks, and things like this, which are very much related to the outcomes of environmental hazards. So if you're interested in working in government, for example, or for organizations that provide humanitarian responses to environmental hazards or major environmental events, this is a fantastic program for you. Research Methods for Global Challenges will give you a social science skill set, so how to use social science methods to understand risk perception, for example, or how communities engage and respond with different kinds of science or risk communication. So it's a really, really interesting project and program, and we're really excited to be able to offer it to you. Our MSc in Environmental Hazards and Risk offers grounded training in the physical science approaches to environmental hazards. So on this side, you will take both spatial and temporal dimensions of hazards and hydrometeorological hazards. So MA students will get to choose one of those, and MSc students will take both. Okay, so we think it's really important if you're going to have an MSc in environmental hazards and risk that you've got a solid, broad, and focused grounding in the physical science approaches there. And this prepares you for fields like environmental impact analysis, working with insurance companies, for example, to analyze environmental hazards and risks posed by environmental change. So a number of our alumni have gone into those kinds of fields, for example. As an MSc student, you will also take risk science communication. And this is oriented towards our physical scientists learning how to communicate complex science to a range of different audiences. All science includes a high level of uncertainty, and this is very difficult for the general population to understand, especially when really complicated decisions or political decisions need to be made in and through scientific evidence. So on that module, you'll develop a skill set in communicating science to a general population. So you'll do a podcast and a research brief and develop different kinds of communication skills. So we think this is really important for our students going out into the world. So I hope that gives you a sense of the structure of the two different programs. All of our students take modules together, understanding risk, risk frontiers, and the dissertation module. So I'll just quickly talk you through those as well. Understanding risk is co-taught by human geographers and physical geographers. Term 1 focuses on environmental impact assessment, and especially how risk analysis plays into that. So you'll get a grounding in the vocabulary, definitions of vulnerability, but also specific techniques for calculating that and how physical scientists calculate risk and vulnerability in those disciplinary fields. In term 2, you will be taught by a human geographer who will do a similar thing through social sciences. So depending on staff interest, that might focus on financial risk or how risk is used by security agencies, for example, to evaluate risks posed by different political movements and conflict worldwide. So across that module, everyone gets a grounding in interdisciplinary approaches to risk. And that gives you a vocabulary and a way of understanding what other people will mean when they're using similar kinds of terms when you're sitting around a table together in your working life after this. We have had alumni come back on our careers day who trained on the MSc side and say that the block they took on biometric risk technologies became really important to them later on, working with a company that was helping to develop those technologies and doing some work with different populations around how they perceived those. So in many cases, the blocks that are farthest from your comfort area can be the most useful to you afterwards because it gives you a skill set that you wouldn't otherwise have had. On Risk Frontiers, we work with the Institute of Hazards, Risk, and Resilience to invite external speakers who are working at the cutting edge of these themes to come speak to our students. So this is a seminar-led module that is then supported through a series of workshops that is focused on developing your critical thinking, listening, and especially question asking skills. So that module gives you fantastic breadth. It also introduces you to a range of different fields of employment and different ways of tackling these kinds of challenges. And finally, we have the dissertation, and we offer 2 modes of dissertation on our programs. You can do a research-based dissertation or a vocational-based dissertation. The research-based dissertation is led by your questions, and you work one-on-one with a staff member in a very tailored and bespoke way to design your own project, develop a research design, execute that, and write up an independent research project. Our vocational project is organized around a partnership with a non-academic partner who wants a piece of research done. So we work with them and the student to develop a project that is of a mutual benefit to everyone. It gives the student an introduction to practice and to practice-based research, and in many cases, a bit of vocational placement alongside the research project as well. So we're really happy and pleased to have a strong set of relationships with vocational partners and to be able to offer all of our students that opportunity. So I hope that gives you a flavor of the kinds of teaching and learning that you'll do on the programs and an idea of what the course structure is for our Master's in Environmental Hazards and Risk.